On Christmas morning, 2002, Jack Whittaker won $315 million. It should have been the best day of his life. Years later, he said he wished he had torn the ticket up. That is what makes this story so uncomfortable. Because Jack did not win a small prize. He won the kind of money people imagine when they are stuck in traffic, staring at bills, or lying awake at night, wondering how their life would change if one impossible thing finally went right. $315 million. A number big enough to erase debt, big enough to buy houses, cars, freedom, silence. Big enough to make people believe every problem is about to disappear. But for Jack Whittaker, the money did not make life quieter. It made everything louder. And this is not really a story about the lottery. It is a story about what happens when money walks into a person's life so loudly that everyone around him starts to change. Before the lottery, Jack Whittaker was not poor. That matters. He was not a desperate man waiting for a miracle. He was a successful businessman in West Virginia. He owned a construction company. He already had money. He already had status. He already knew what wealth looked like. So when Jack won one of the biggest lottery jackpots in American history, the story became even stranger. Because this was not a man going from nothing to everything. This was a man who already had a life. Then one ticket put a spotlight on it. On Christmas Eve, Jack bought a lottery ticket. Just a small piece of paper. By the next morning, that piece of paper had become the most dangerous object in his life. The cameras came, the headlines came, the giant check came, and suddenly, Jack was not just Jack anymore. He was the man who won $315 million. That number entered every room before he did. At first, it looked beautiful. Jack talked about giving money away. He talked about helping churches. He talked about helping his community. He gave gifts. He donated. He shared. From the outside, it looked like the perfect version of the American dream. A man wins more than he could ever need and decides to help other people. But there is a strange thing about generosity when everyone knows you are rich. The first gift makes people grateful. The second gift makes people hopeful. The third gift makes people expect it. And soon, Jack discovered that the lottery had not only opened a bank account, it had opened a door. And that door would not close. People started coming to him. Some were friends. Some were relatives. Some were strangers. Some had real pain. Some had real emergencies. Some only had a story. But to all of them, Jack was no longer just a man. He was an answer, a walking solution, a human bank account. Before the jackpot, Jack could walk into a room as himself. After the jackpot, he walked in as a number. 315 million. That number changed the way people smiled at him. It changed the way people asked for help. It changed the way he heard the words, "I love you." Because once everyone knows you have money, even kindness starts to feel complicated. Was someone being friendly? Or were they waiting? Was someone asking for help? Or testing how much they could get? Was someone close to him because they cared? Or because the money was close too? This is the part of sudden wealth people rarely imagine. They imagine the house, the cars, the freedom. They do not imagine suspicion. They do not imagine being surrounded by people and still feeling alone. They do not imagine having to wonder whether every relationship now has a price tag. Jack kept giving, but the more he gave, the more people came. And the more people came, the harder it became to know where generosity ended and hunger began. Then the money made Jack visible in a different way. Not just famous, targeted. At one point, a large amount of cash was stolen from his vehicle. To most people, that detail sounds almost unreal. Why would anyone carry that much money around? But that is what sudden wealth can do. It bends normal behavior. It changes what feels possible. And to the outside world, Jack became something dangerous to be. A pile of money with a name. Some people looked at him and saw luck. Some saw unfairness. Some saw opportunity. And when people think someone has too much, they can become very creative with their own morality. They tell themselves, "He won it anyway. He has more than enough. He will not miss it. This is my chance, too." That is one of the darkest things about money. It can make greed sound like justice. It can make theft feel like balance. After the jackpot, Jack's name kept appearing in headlines. Not as the lucky man anymore, but as the lottery winner surrounded by theft, lawsuits, legal trouble, and chaos. The dream was no longer private. It had become a public storm, and Jack's family was standing inside it. The most painful part of this story is not the stolen money. It is not the lawsuits. It is not the headlines. It is what happened to the people closest to him, especially his granddaughter Brandy. Jack loved Brandy deeply. By many accounts, she was one of the most important people in his life. He gave her money. He gave her gifts. He wanted to protect her. But protection becomes complicated when money attracts the wrong people. Because money does not only buy comfort, it buys access. It makes a young person more visible than they should be. It brings people close who may never have come close otherwise. And in 2004, Brandy disappeared. She was only 17 years old. Days later, she was found dead. There are some details in stories like this that do not need to be repeated loudly. Because the point is not to turn someone's tragedy into entertainment. The point is to understand the weight behind what Jack later believed. He believed the money had brought destruction into his family. Now, whether money directly caused every tragedy is not something a clean sentence can prove. Life is more complicated than that. People are more complicated than that. Pain usually has more than one source. But what we can say is this. The money changed the environment around the family. It changed who came close. It changed what people wanted. It changed what was possible. It changed the pressure. And sometimes, pressure does not create a crack. It finds one. Then it pushes. After Brandy's death, the lottery ticket no longer looked like a miracle. To Jack, it looked like the beginning of a curse. Imagine that, holding the object millions of people dream about, and slowly believing that the dream opened the door to everything you lost. Jack Whittaker's story is often told like a cursed lottery story. But maybe the lottery was not magic. Maybe it was a spotlight. It did not create every problem. It made every problem visible. It did not invent greed. It gave greed a reason to step forward. It did not invent loneliness. It made trust harder to recognize. It did not turn everyone into someone else. It showed Jack who some people already were. That is why this story still feels so uncomfortable. Because almost everyone has imagined winning. Almost everyone has thought, If I had that much money, everything would be different. And maybe that is true. Everything would be different. But different does not always mean better. Sometimes different means louder, heavier, more exposed, more dangerous. The lottery commercial shows the giant check. It shows the smiling family. It shows freedom. It shows escape. It does not show the phone that never stops ringing. It does not show relatives becoming negotiators. It does not show friends becoming applicants. It does not show strangers becoming threats. It does not show the moment when a gift becomes an expectation. And it does not show the fear of saying no. That was the real cost of Jack's win. Not just the money he lost, not just the peace he lost, but the life he could never return to. Because before the ticket, Jack was a man. After the ticket, he was a prize. And everyone around him had to decide what they wanted from him. Some wanted help. Some wanted access. Some wanted a piece. Some wanted more. So maybe the darkest part of this story is not that Jack won the lottery and became unlucky. Maybe the darkest part is that he won the lottery and found out how many people were waiting for a reason to change. Money did not change him first. It changed the way the world looked at him. And once that happened, there was no going back. So the next time you see a jackpot climbing higher and higher, and you imagine the house, the car, the freedom, the escape, remember Jack Whittaker, the man who won almost everything people think they want, and then spent the rest of his life trying to return to the one thing money could never buy back. The life he had before everyone knew he was rich.